Zach Cox, Dakota Randall here at MetLife Stadium after an ugly, unattractive, but highly necessary Patriots win. Patriots won 15-10 over the New York Jets, their 15th straight win over the Jets. It was an ugly game, as I mentioned. It's still raining as we watch these little kids play football behind us here, but after starting 0-2, this is a game that the Patriots absolutely needed to win by any means necessary, and they did get it done at the end.
Yeah, as the rain comes down here a little bit harder than it was during the game. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, a win is a win for the Patriots, and my top takeaway is this game went just about as we all expected it to. Patriots earned a narrow, hard-fought victory. Zach Wilson was terrible, and he made a big mistake at the end of the game with taking that sack for the safety in the end zone. So at the end of the day, again, it's ugly, but the Patriots needed this game to avoid all the Bill Belichick hot seat talk, so they got it done.
It seemed like the Patriots almost went into just hyper-conservative mode really early in the second half. They punted on each of their final 6 drives. They just basically focused on running the ball and trying to run out the clock for really the final quarter and a half. The defense played well enough today, and as you mentioned, Zach Wilson was Zach Wilson-y enough for them to win this game. The Jets really only had one half-decent offensive possession. They had an 87-yard touchdown drive to cut it to a one-score game in the fourth quarter, but that one drive accounted for more than half of their yards in this entire game. Patriots aren't going to be able to play Zach Wilson every week. Obviously, they have a much tougher opponent next week in the Dallas Cowboys. But if the Patriots had fallen to 0-3, you've got that Cowboys game coming up. You could be staring at 0-4. That Bill Belichick hot seat talk would have just ratcheted up to a level that we have never seen around here. And this win at least pushes that back a little bit.
Yeah, and I talked to Matthew Slater after the game about that Belichick hot seat talk, and he said, they hear it, you can't not hear it, but that they have full confidence in Bill Belichick and that he's still the greatest coach of all time. Obviously, that's what they're going to say. And I would agree with that. But I also, to your point about, they can't play Zach Wilson every weekend, I think a popular narrative after this game might be that, the Patriots might have lost this game, would have lost this game if Aaron Rodgers played. But I think that ignores the fact that they played this game like Zach Wilson was the quarterback. They rarely pushed the issue. I think Mac Jones made some big throws when he had to, but really the Patriots played like they had no belief that Zach Wilson could get the job done. I mean, I think they played with fire a little too much. That Hail Mary was inches away at the end of the game, but regardless, the Patriots thought Zach Wilson would lose the game for the Jets, and they were right.
And you could see just the way they played some of their personnel. They were in base defense way more than they typically are against basically any level of accomplished quarterback. Now, some of that probably had to do with the fact that they basically had 3 cornerbacks for this entire game. Christian Gonzalez has played every defensive snap so far. He's been fantastic. I think it was a solid game overall for Miles Bryant, but he did have the penalty that set up the Jets' 1 touchdown. But when you're playing an offense that, again, clearly could not throw the ball with any consistency, the Patriots were able to do some things against this team that they wouldn't be able to do against a lot of other opponents. And overall, this defense through 3 games, I say you have to be pretty impressed with what they've shown, even again against Zach Wilson today. You just look at the scores around the NFL today. You look at what Miami did to Denver, hanging 70 points on them. I know there were some players in the Patriots locker room that were pretty surprised by that result. Patriots held that team to 24 points a week ago, so the Patriots certainly have some good things going, at least on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and I think, for the Patriots, they needed to play well in the trenches, and I wouldn't say it was a resounding victory for them in that department, but they played well enough. I thought a huge key going into this game was stopping the run or limiting the run and making this a one-dimensional game for the Jets, making them have to rely on Zach Wilson to win the game. I don't have the final numbers, but the Jets didn't run wild by any means. I thought the run defense, especially after losing 2 interior linemen, Tavon Godchaux and Daniel Aquale, really did their job. And up front, listen, it wasn't perfect, but I don't think Mac Jones was sacked. He dealt with some pressure, but the Patriots averaged 3.9 yards per carry. Ezekiel Elliott had 80 yards. Montre Stevenson had some good carries too. So I think they defended the run well, and they established the run which they had to do, and I think that's ultimately why they won this game.
No sacks allowed, no turnovers for the Patriots. Really avoided those types of negative plays that really put them in holes in the first 2 weeks. There were some issues with penalties, especially in the second half, that they're going to have to clean up, but it was a cleaner overall offensive performance for the Patriots, and it resulted in, again, a 15-10 win in the rain, in the wind, here at MetLife Stadium, as we have a touchdown right behind us just now. The Patriots will be down in Dallas next week to take on the Dallas Cowboys in Week 4.